Fox News host Greg Gutfeld earlier this week created quite the controversy for the network when he made a comment about Jewish people being slaughtered in the Holocaust, where he openly suggested that, hey, those who learned skills in the concentration camps, they weren't killed. It was just a method of survival. And the reason this conversation even happened on The Five, which is the program this was aired on Monday, is because they were, of course, trying to defend Ron DeSantis' new education department decree in the state of Florida that says that teachers are now required to teach students that slaves during slavery in the United States learned some pretty helpful skills that helped them later in life. Later in life, as if slaves were allowed to retire or simply quit being slaves to go start their own business. Hey, I learned how to be a blacksmith. Why don't I do this for profit? That's not a thing that happened, okay? Just so we're 100% clear, slaves weren't allowed to retire. They weren't allowed to quit. They were slaves. They were viewed legally as the property of other human beings. That's how they were treated. So it doesn't matter what they learned, they weren't able to use it later in life to make a better life for themselves. But that's what teachers in Florida have to talk about now. That's what they have to tell their students. And that's what Fox News was trying to defend on Monday when this exchange took place between Jessica Tarlov and Greg Gutfeld. Jessica Tarlov said, obviously I'm not black, but I'm Jewish. Would someone say about the Holocaust, for instance, that there were some benefits for Jews, right? While they were hanging out in concentration camps, you learned a strong work ethic, right? Maybe you learned a new skill. That's when Greg Gutfeld interjected and said, did you ever read Man's Search for Meaning? Vic Frankl talks about how you had to survive in a concentration camp by having skills. You had to be useful. Utility kept you alive. So, not necessarily a defense of the Holocaust, but a bit of a whitewashing of the Holocaust. And of course, you've had President Biden's team come out and admonish these statements. You have had the Holocaust Museum come out and admonish these statements. You've had everybody come out and talk about how horrific these statements from Greg Gutfeld were. But now, according to a new report from Mediaite, staffers at Fox News, speaking anonymously, of course, are talking about how horrendous these comments were. In fact, this is actually from Mediaite, but originally from the Daily Beast. You had one staffer that said, quote, obviously it is a disgusting thing to say, same with Jesse's remarks on the matter. Just generally speaking, I'm amazed that Fox has any ability to retain employees from multicultural backgrounds. Our workplace is shockingly diverse, given the vitriol that often makes it to the air. Understand that they're likely here for the same reasons I am. These jobs are scarce, but I can't help but feel awful for them because they undoubtedly see this nonsense and can't do anything to stop it. Another one simply told the Daily Beast when asked for comments, yikes. Another one said that there's a lot of internal worry about the comments, and another said at any other place, his career would be over, according to one Fox News insider. And that is absolutely true. You try to make comments like this while working at a bank, working at a law firm, working at a school, outside of Florida, obviously. Yeah, you're going to get canned pretty quickly. Rightfully so. But not at Fox News. But here's what gets me about all this. You had that one staffer, I quoted them talking about, like, look, we got a multicultural group of people working here at Fox News. And yeah, the jobs are scarce. They need jobs. They need to put food on the table for their families, for themselves, all of that. I get that. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, y'all are still producing this horrific content. You are, in fact, complacent with it. You have a role in creating this. I understand the need to take care of yourself and to have a job. I get that. But at what point does your moral compass kick in? Okay? Fox News in New York City is not the only news outlet there. We've got budding news outlets popping up across the country. Go get a job at News Nation. Maybe see what's happening over at NBC, MSNBC, CNBC. Hell, there's a lot of NBCs for you to choose from. See what's going on over at Peacock, another NBC property. Check out CNN. They seem to be having trouble keeping people on staff, so they've got to have some job openings somewhere. But as long as you remain there, again, I understand the need for the job, But as long as you stay there and you keep producing these segments, you keep making graphics for these segments, you keep writing script for these segments, you can't sit there and complain about it when you are helping to create this content. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.